Are you truly living, or just existing? Most people drift through life, defining themselves by their job title, their bank balance, or the name on their birth certificate. But what if I told you that's all just a carefully constructed illusion? What if everything you think you are is nothing more than mental programming, a script you've been unconsciously following since childhood? Imagine unlocking your true potential, transforming your finances, relationships, and sense of purpose all in a matter of minutes. Sounds far-fetched, I know. But give me 5 minutes of focused attention, and I'll show you how. Ever wonder why so many feel a nagging sense of emptiness? They see a void, a disconnect between their expectations and reality, but can't pinpoint the source. Worse, they believe the answer lies outside themselves. They chase magic bullets, hidden secrets, hoping someone will hand them the solution on a silver platter. But the truth is, the answer has always been within. I've witnessed it countless times, people attending seminars, buying self-help books, consuming endless content, hoping for a quick fix. Nothing changes until you change. That's what Ray Stanford, a man I met at a low point, told me. He looked me straight in the eye and said, if you don't like the results you're getting, you need to change yourself. The results are a mirror reflecting who you are. It wasn't a dramatic epiphany, but a quiet shift, a profound realization. It resonated deeply, and maybe it will resonate with you, too. Does this sound familiar? You work hard, play by the rules, yet you find yourself stuck in a rut, repeating the same financial struggles, the same frustrating patterns, the same dead-end job, despite your best efforts. That's because you're trying to fix the harvest without tending the seed. You're trying to change the world without changing the center of your world, yourself. At the time, I was lost. I had no degree, a string of dead-end jobs, changing oil, mopping floors, just scraping by. Then his words hit me like a ton of bricks, discover who you are. And I realized. I didn't know. That's the crux of it. Ask someone, who are you, and they'll rattle off their name, age, job, labels, social constructs, not the essence of their being. We treat our bodies, our names, our identities as possessions, my body, my name. But who is this, I, that owns it all? That's where most people get lost. We're so busy looking outward that we forget to look inward. We react to everything. A negative comment throws us off balance, bad news sends us spiraling, a low bank account defines us. Why? Because we haven't built a solid sense of self. We're not living, we're reacting. We're surviving, not thriving. 95% of people live on autopilot, mimicking others, believing what they're told to believe, trapped on a conveyor belt of frustration. If you grew up believing success is for the lucky, money is scarce, and conformity is key, that's not your fault. But it is your responsibility to rewrite the script. Your environment shaped your beliefs, but it didn't define your essence. Your true self transcends your past, the criticisms, the failures, the heartbreaks. It's waiting to be discovered, but only when you stop repeating the past and start exploring the present, understanding your mind, your thoughts, and your power to create your reality. This isn't mystical mumbo-jumbo, it's neuroscience. Studies from Stanford show over 90% of our behaviors are unconscious, ingrained habits. You're living a pre-programmed life until you choose to break free. It doesn't require a drastic life overhaul. Start small, ask yourself, who am I, and who do I want to be? Once you realize you're not defined by your job, your past, or your circumstances, you're free. You can reinvent yourself, forge a new path. It takes courage to look inward, to shed the old narratives and ask, what if I'm so much more? I asked that question, and it changed everything. Maybe it's your turn now. The greatest prison has no walls or bars, it's the way you've been conditioned to think. People are trapped in a system that shapes their choices from birth, a silent, insidious process. They follow the flow unquestioningly, never imagining a different path. School, family, society, they taught us rules, patterns, obedience, but not critical thinking. No one taught us to question, to challenge the status quo. That's why most people live a life they never chose. Why do people work 40 years and end up with little to show for it? Not because they lack work ethic, but because they follow a flawed model: study, get a job, retire, and accept whatever comes. Yet most stubbornly adhere to it. The most shocking statistic I've encountered? Over 95% of people live their entire lives without ever achieving what they truly desire, sleepwalking through life, copying others' choices, facing the same problems, never questioning their path. Their justification: everyone else does it. Since when did following the crowd guarantee success? Most are in debt, unhappy with their work, feeling their lives are wasted. Why continue down that path? I know this firsthand. I wasn't born into wealth or privilege, I was stuck in that same darkness, trapped in meaningless jobs. Then something shifted. I discovered Think and Grow Rich, and it posed a powerful, silent question: what if everything I'd been taught was wrong? I started studying not the world, but my own thinking. We are conditioned from childhood, programmed by others, and this programming resides in the subconscious, operating below our awareness. You learned your native language effortlessly, right? Imagine being surrounded by 10 languages, you'd learn them all. Why? Because your mind was open. But as we grow, that openness closes. We believe we can't learn, change, or grow beyond our perceived limitations. These limits are not inherent, they are learned. This is the danger of the environment. Even as you begin to awaken, it tries to pull you back. Loved ones might say you're unrealistic, to get your feet on the ground. But feet on the ground never made anyone fly. You must question. Ask yourself, do the people advising me have the life I want? If not, why listen? It takes courage to be different, to think independently. It starts with a simple act: stopping the copying. Most people start a job, observe their colleagues, and imitate them without considering better methods. Real change happens when you dare to ask, is there a better way? Once, questioning was labeled rebellion, now I see it as liberation. Don't accept the notion that thinking differently is wrong. Edison, Marconi, Steve Jobs, Oprah, Walt Disney, they dared to imagine something others didn't see. They made a difference. Your biggest mistake might have been trying to fit into a mold that was never meant for you. How many times have you abandoned an idea because someone said it was too difficult? How often has your enthusiasm been stifled by negativity? Your mind has the power to create a new world, but first it must be freed from old programming. That happens when you consciously choose what enters your mind. Science backs this up. Yale studies show people exposed to negative environments experience higher stress, insecurity, and chronic illness. The opposite is also true: exposure to positive, growth-oriented ideas activates creativity and courage. This isn't motivational fluff, it's neuroscience. The world won't change until you do, and change starts when you stop repeating the past. Will you continue living a life designed by others, or will you finally begin to design your own? This is the difference between living and simply existing. Notice how many people seem to shrink themselves. Avoiding eye contact, speaking softly, walking with their heads down, as if apologizing for their existence. They do this because, deep down, they don't believe they're enough, not capable, not deserving. It's not about what they have or lack, it's about their self-image, the picture they carry in their minds, picture that's silently shaping their lives. It all starts with self-image. This concept, as we understand it today, was developed by plastic surgeon Maxwell Morse. He observed that facial surgery often dramatically changed behavior. Shy people became outgoing. But sometimes, even after surgery, behavior remained unchanged. Why? Because despite the external change, the internal image remained flawed. Do you understand the power of this? Your internal self-image influences every choice you make, leading you to accept less than you deserve, to self-sabotage, to give up before you even try. It's not the world holding you back, but the image you carry of yourself. I've seen this firsthand. In workshops, I've watched people barely able to make eye contact on day one, burdened by failure and rejection. As they began to shift their self-perception, something incredible happened. Their posture changed, their gaze sharpened, their voices gained firmness, not because the world changed, but because they did. Have you experienced this? Hesitated in the face of opportunity? Felt inadequate, unprepared, or insufficient? Those voices aren't yours, they're implanted perhaps by parents, teachers, or peers. But you don't have to listen anymore. Self-image isn't static, it can and should be rebuilt. Close your eyes and visualize yourself as you wish to be, not just appearance, but behavior, speech, actions. See yourself confident, calm, and in control. It may feel silly at first, but fantasy today can become reality tomorrow. I remember a woman in one of my workshops, an insurance broker stuck in a rut. She said, "Bob, I always feel like an intruder, as if I'm bothering people." We discovered she grew up being told she was inconvenient, talked too much, and asked for too much. She carried that guilt for decades. I asked her to write a new self-image. "I'm a competent professional who offers real value. I'm confident in what I offer, and it makes a difference." She hesitated, saying it was a lie, but I insisted she read it daily, aloud, feeling it as truth. 3 weeks later, she emailed me she'd closed the biggest deal of her career. "Bob," she wrote, "I finally felt worthy." That's the point. You attract what you believe you deserve. Want more money, a successful business, a healthy relationship, respect? It all starts with your internal image. If you see yourself as small, the world will treat you as small. But when you see yourself as valuable, the world responds. It's not magic, it's perception. People pick up on your inner state. Changing your self-image is the first step to changing everything. You don't need to wait for improved self-esteem to act, you act as if you already possess that new image, and gradually, your mind begins to believe it. Your nervous system accepts it, and reality follows. Relax, close your eyes, imagine living the life you desire, walking with purpose, speaking with conviction, smiling with ease. This isn't about self-deception, it's about unveiling what's always been there, buried under criticism and fear. Write it down. Describe this version of yourself as if it already exists. "I am calm, focused, prosperous, confident." Read it daily, even when it feels ridiculous, especially when it feels ridiculous. Your brain learns through repetition. The more you repeat an image, the more it becomes your identity. I still do it today, not out of insecurity, but because I never stopped growing. The question is, how have you been seeing yourself? Until your self-image changes, your life will continue reflecting what you believe you deserve. Most believe their emotions are an inevitable response to external events, that they are at the mercy of circumstances. But what if that's not true? What if your emotions are under your control, and mastering them is the key to transforming your life? I'm not saying you won't feel. Feeling is part of being human. The problem is we're taught to react to our feelings, not understand them. People start their day well, then a negative message, bad news, or traffic jam ruins it. They oscillate, as if their moods are determined by external factors. But what controls your emotions isn't what happens, but how you interpret it. It begins with thought. Thought generates feeling, and feeling generates action. This cycle happens constantly. If you don't like your emotions, pay attention to your thoughts. I learned this firsthand. I once earned a lot of money but was constantly angry, stressed, anxious. I thought money would solve my emotional problems, but they intensified. I realized it's not what I have, but what I think about what I have, and even more profoundly, what I think about myself. Your interpretation of the world directly shapes your emotional experience. Consider someone losing their job. One might think, this proves I'm a failure. Another might think, this is the chance I needed to do something I love. Same situation, completely different emotions. Why? Because the meaning they assigned to the event differed. Do you see the power you hold? If you feel depressed, anxious, or discouraged, your thoughts are heading in the wrong direction, but you can change that, not overnight, but with practice, determination, and awareness. Pay attention to what you consume. Everything that enters your mind influences how you feel. Negative news, toxic conversations, stressful environments, they contaminate. Positive books, uplifting audio, good company, they elevate. I changed my routine. I used to start the day with the news, filled with tragedy, crisis, and corruption. It shaped my perception, leaving me exhausted before my coffee was finished. So I switched to reading Think and Grow Rich, or The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Something uplifting. My mood, energy, and entire day shifted, not because the world changed, but because I stopped feeding my mind with negativity. Science confirms this. Studies from UC Berkeley show people cultivating positive thoughts have lower cortisol levels. Thinking positively is biologically beneficial. You might ask, how do I control thoughts that seem to come from nowhere? You don't need to stop thoughts, you choose which ones to engage with. Unlocking your potential, from inner turmoil to extraordinary life, we're all bombarded with thoughts, a constant stream of mental visitors. The key isn't to stop them arriving, but to choose which ones you let in. Negative thoughts? Sure, they'll pop up. But ask yourself, does this serve my purpose? Does it move me closer to my goals? If not, gently nudge it away. It takes practice. You've spent a lifetime reacting to your thoughts, but now it's time to take the reins. Imagine a more evolved version of yourself facing a challenge. How would they respond? With calm? Inventiveness? Graceful silence? That answer lives within you, it's simply a matter of accessing it. You weren't born to react, you were born to create. Your emotions are your compass. Persistent negativity points to a disconnect from your true self. You're not a prisoner of circumstance. You get to choose. Shift your focus. Rewrite your inner narrative. Decide what you think, and you'll change how you feel. Change how you feel, and you'll transform your actions. That's the power of mindful choice. It changes everything. The key to peace? You already hold it. Many search endlessly for solutions outside themselves, the perfect job, the ideal relationship, a new location. They amass knowledge, chase fleeting trends, and yet remain unfulfilled, chasing windmills. They mistake acquisition for awakening. Ever notice how difficult it is for most to sit in quiet solitude? Silence reveals the uncomfortable truth, a lack of self-awareness. The real transformation isn't about gaining something new, but rediscovering what's always been there, you. True knowledge isn't acquired, it's awakened. An awakening takes courage. Facing yourself is harder than facing the world. It requires shedding masks, dismantling defenses, and honestly asking, who am I, truly? My journey started with a relentless pursuit of wealth. I believed money would solve everything. It came quickly, yet I felt lost. Money didn't equal peace, success didn't equal direction. I learned it's not about what you have, but who you are. This isn't about Himalayan retreats or drastic life changes. It's about pausing, breathing, observing, and investigating your thoughts, windows to your deepest truth. Where do your thoughts originate? Are they truly yours, or echoes of childhood, societal programming, and ingrained beliefs that no longer serve you? You are living a life built on these echoes. Yet, when you begin to examine this, something magical happens. You discover a space between stimulus and response, a space to choose, to create, to be star. That space is freedom itself. Your mind has a physical aspect, your brain, and a non-physical one, your consciousness. Tap into that consciousness, it connects you to your inner power. All profound transformations begin from within. You're a projector. The world is the screen. What you project, thoughts, beliefs, internal images, dictates your reality. A blurry, distorted lens creates a flawed projection. Clean the lens, adjust the focus, choose a new image, and the world responds in kind. Want more love? Start by loving yourself more. Want prosperity? Recognize your inherent worth. Want opportunities? See yourself as someone ready to seize them. It begins with your internal vision. It starts with deciding to stop searching and begin remembering. Remembering you already possess everything you seek. The creative spark resides within, the resources you crave are already yours. You just need to stop the relentless distraction of external pursuits and turn inward. not to hide, but to reveal. Your inner world holds the map, the answer, the way. Connecting with this inner compass brings a certainty the external world can't offer, a certainty independent of wealth, approval, or validation. It's the certainty of self-discovery. And self-discovery liberates. The question isn't, what do you want to achieve, but, who are you when no one is watching? That answer can change everything. Why, with so much potential, do many live far below their capabilities? It's a subtle but crucial factor, a lack of clear decision. Most wait, hesitate, analyze, but never truly decide. This silent indecision fuels unrealized dreams, lost opportunities, and mediocre lives. Until you commit, nothing happens. I see the doubt in countless faces, desire is expressed, yet they live as if time is infinite. They wait for a courage they haven't yet cultivated. But time doesn't wait. The universe moves only for those who decide. Want a different life? Really? Stop waiting for perfection, it'll never arrive. Most wait to feel ready, but readiness follows decision, not precedes it. Decide first. That decision shapes who you become. I remember my pivotal moment. I was a fireman in Toronto, secure, stable, but something burned within, a nagging voice, this isn't your path. Then I read, Think and Grow Rich. It struck like a silent explosion. I realized it wasn't the world that needed changing, but me. I decided. I quit my job, no guarantees, no safety net. I started a cleaning business. In my first year, I earned over $100,000. It wasn't magic, it was decision. When you truly decide, the world responds. People appear. Opportunities emerge. Ideas flow. It all starts by ceasing to ask, what if I fail, and asking, what do I lose by not trying? How much has doubt held you back? How many doors remain unopened due to fear? How often have you chosen the familiar discomfort over extraordinary possibility? Indecision breeds stagnation, stagnation breeds suffering. Indecisive people remain trapped, in jobs they hate, in empty relationships, in uninspiring routines. Even unhappy, they stay, waiting for the right moment. But it never arrives. The right moment is when you decide. Columbia University research showed that more choices lead to decision paralysis. In a world of abundant possibilities, the courage to decide is paramount. Deciding is an act of power. You don't beg for power, you seize it. Challenge yourself, write down 3 decisions you've been delaying. Choose one. Act on it in the next 24 hours. Not tomorrow. Now. When you start deciding, you start truly living. You might stumble, but you'll be moving, growing, in control. That feeling is priceless, looking in the mirror and knowing, I chose this. Life doesn't change because you wish it would, it changes because you decide. Decide to live fully, and something within awakens, clarity, energy, purpose, inaccessible while you're indecisive. What decision have you been putting off? It could bridge the gap between your current life and your dreams. You don't need to become someone new, you need to remember who you are. The strength, the clarity, the capability, it's all within you. The only thing separating you from the life you desire is your willingness to take control of your mind, emotions, and decisions. With this newfound awareness, you ready for the next step? The next video awaits. Click it. Take a decisive step toward becoming 1% better. Thank you for joining me. See you in the next video.